Long before they became legendary raiders and explorers, the Vikings were simply northern people, living in the harsh lands of Scandinavia. Their story begins in the cold fjords and dense forests of what we now know as Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, where scattered communities of farmers and fishermen carved out a living from the unforgiving landscape. The year was 793 AD, when the world first truly felt the Viking presence. On a misty morning at Lindisfarne Monastery, off the English coast, monks were going about their daily prayers, when strange ships appeared on the horizon. Their dragon-headed prows cutting through the waves, these vessels carried warriors who would change the course of history. The raid on Lindisfarne wasn't just an attack, it was the birth announcement of the Viking Age. But what drove these people to suddenly burst onto the world stage? The answer lies in a perfect storm of circumstances. Scandinavia's population was growing, but its harsh landscape offered limited farmland. The Vikings had developed remarkable ships, light enough to navigate rivers, yet strong enough to cross oceans. Europe's kingdoms were fractured and vulnerable. And perhaps most importantly, Viking culture celebrated the pursuit of wealth and glory through bold action. These Norse warriors didn't just raid, they were master navigators and traders. Their ships carried them down the rivers of Russia, across the Mediterranean, and eventually to shores no European had ever seen. They established settlements in Iceland, where their descendants still live today. They reached Greenland and even touched North American shores, 5 centuries before Columbus would make his famous journey. Their society was complex and sophisticated. While popular imagination pictures them as simple raiders, Vikings were also farmers, craftsmen, poets, and merchants. They created intricate art, told epic sagas, and developed a complex system of laws and governance. In their halls, skalds sang tales of gods and heroes, while traders discussed routes to distant lands. The Vikings' influence spread far beyond their homeland. They founded Dublin in Ireland and established the Danelaw in England. Their descendants, the Normans, would reshape European history. In the east, Swedish Vikings known as the Russ would give their name to Russia. Their blood, their language, and their customs became woven into the fabric of medieval Europe. But like all great powers, the Viking Age had to end. As Christianity spread through Scandinavia and their raids became harder to sustain, the fierce warriors gradually transformed into settled kingdoms. The Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066 marked the symbolic end of the Viking era, but their legacy lived on. Today, evidence of Viking influence can be found everywhere, from our modern English language to the names of our weekdays. They weren't just raiders and warriors, they were explorers, merchants, craftsmen, and settlers who changed the world forever. From their humble beginnings in the cold north to their amazing journeys across the known world, the Vikings wrote one of history's most remarkable chapters, leaving an indelible mark on human civilization.